Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a natural look because that's all I ever do. A natural makeup look, and also talking about my recent relocation, travel, social work, dating of course, because you know that's what I like to talk about, and all that. So yeah, if you're interested in hearing about my life update, go ahead and continue to watch this video. And before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram as well. So my Instagram is _. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. So to prime my face, as always, I'm using the Milk Hydro Grip. Then after the Milk Hydro Grip, I'm using Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Powder to set my primer because y'all know I'm oily. Then after I set my primer with the translucent powder, I just use my Holy Grail, which is MAC Studio Fix Fluid and NC50. Okay, so I'm already primed. I put my foundation on and everything. My eyebrows are micro shaded, and this is the final result of my micro shading. If you want me to do a video on my experience, definitely let me know because I'll be more than willing to talk about it. I'm pretty satisfied with the result of them. But anyway, let me go ahead and get into the purpose of this video. Okay, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, then you probably don't already know that I relocated to DC. Okay, so let me go ahead and explain because this was like a very sudden move. It happened like over a span of like 3 weeks, like literally deciding to move and packing up, all of that. Okay, so this is what happened. Okay, so on my last few videos, I had been talking about relocating. I had been talking about relocating to DC or Atlanta area, and I was literally going to I was literally gonna relocate to Atlanta. Literally, I was telling people I know down there I'm relocating in like February, President's Day weekend. Expect me to be there. Okay, I was looking for apartments. The last time I went down to visit Atlanta, that was in December, January time frame. I literally was looking at apartments. And then at that time, I kind of got, I guess, cold feet, and I kind of like talked myself out of it because I'm like, okay, I'm making this amount of money in Seattle. Atlanta, the pay rates are not comparable. I already know that. So I already knew I was going to be taking a hit when it comes to pay. But I was like, but I don't know what that hit would be. Like, and I want to know before I just sign this lease at an apartment. At that time, I was working from home. So I was literally just going to move, keep my job working from home, and then try to find like a new job in Atlanta. The issue with that also, aside from like knowing how much money I was going to make, is that like a lot of the social work positions in Atlanta want you to be licensed, which is fine. I'm licensed in Washington State. Like, yes, they want you to be licensed to practice as a social worker. But the thing is that the licensing requirements are different, and to this day I have not heard back from Atlanta, Georgia social work boards regarding my license down there. Side note, my brushes are dirty, so please do not say nothing about me. I know I need to wash them, okay? I need to wash these brushes. I applied for my social work license in Georgia, and I wanted to have my license before I relocated, just for security. Even though I was working from home, I was going to keep that same job. I was like, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. There's just so many what ifs. And so I was talking myself out of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait until I get my license before I even relocate to Georgia. Hopefully it'll be sooner than later. And within that time frame, of course, I'll be able to save more money to relocate, whatever. So let's backtrack a little bit. Okay, last year I was working at a hospital, and I met this woman who was a traveling social worker. And then I was just talking to her about her agency. She told me who she was traveling with, and I'm like, I like to travel. I'm a social worker. Why not do this? Okay, so it had always been in the back of my mind. And then last year, when I was thinking about relocating to DC, I was definitely entertaining the thought of doing travel social work, but got cold feet. You know, all the little what ifs. Like, you know, this is a very temporary travel. Any type of travel assignment within the medical field is temporary. They're literally like 13-week assignments. So I got cold feet just thinking about like the short-term nature of it, whatever. So I didn't go through with it. Come on, let's focus. There we go. So fast forward to beginning of 2021, when I'm trying to relocate to Atlanta, I was working with a recruiter and I was like, can you find me an assignment in Atlanta? And so we found one, but I didn't get it. They offered it to someone else. He was like, okay, well, are you willing to travel anywhere else? I'm like, I was just like, DMV area. I literally was not intentional about it. I was just throwing it out there. Yeah, DMV. He's like, DC, Maryland, Virginia. I'm like, yeah. So he sent me a list of these positions. I'm not interested in moving anywhere outside of the metro area, like surrounding DC. So a lot of them were not interesting to me. But then I saw one that's located in DC. And so I'm like, oh, I'm interested in that one. And then maybe like a week later, he said they're offering you the position. And I was like, excuse me? He called me. He's like, yeah, I have an offer for you. I'm like, they're not going to interview me? He's like, no, usually for these contracts, they don't interview. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so what am I going to be doing? He was like, floating. Yeah, floating through different units, you know, covering inpatient units. I'm like, okay, because my experience in medical social work is only in the ER. When you work in the ER in social work, it's primarily like literally like 95% psychiatric assessments, at least like if within the hospitals I worked in Washington State. Okay, so it's primarily psychiatric. Second to psychiatric is of course like grief, because you know, of course, people pass when they're in the ER, so you have to step in during those times. And then the other like portion of working in the ER is drug and alcohol assessments and getting people into treatment if they want to. So inpatient social work within medical social work is completely different than what I have done. Is discharge planning, primarily discharge planning, with which I have no experience with. But I'm a very quick learner. Which sounds cliche, but I am. Like literally, show me one time, I'll try it one time, critique me, tell me what I need to do, just give me a flow sheet or whatever. I got it. Like, it's really not, learning how to do a job for me is nothing, okay? So, of course, when I was talking to the recruiter, I was very scared, and I told him, I'm like, this is so sudden, I was not expecting this, but yeah, I'll do it. He was like, you want me to tell him you'll do it? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And so that happened. That was maybe like the first week of January, I believe, first or second week of January. And then I was scheduled to start my new role out here in DC February 2nd. So literally 1 month to move. And that is so unlike me. Like, I'm so like, I'm more type A than I am type B. Like, I'm not spontaneous. I need to know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. I need to plan it out. I'm very much so like a to-do list type of person. And to just spontaneously plan to move across the country is crazy. It is not like me at all. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to take a leap of faith. God would not present me with this opportunity if it wasn't for me and if this was not part of my purpose. Okay, so I just took it. Fast forward to me relocating. I literally gave up all my clothes. Like I brought 4 suitcases, like 4 check bags, 2 carry-ons, I believe, a duffel bag, and a rolling carry-on, and a backpack. So I had a total of 7 bags. That's all I have. That's all I have. Then I put some stuff in storage at my mom's house. So like, I put some summer clothes in storage, like all my diplomas, some artwork I have. Like, I put that all in storage at my mom's house. But I'm literally living off of 7 luggage, like literally 7 suitcases. That's all I got. That's all I got, y'all. So, which is such a change because I am more of a person who's like a maximalist. I'm not a minimalist. So to reduce my possessions down to like such a little amount is crazy. But I did it. So what I did is, I just, for like a few weeks, I just literally like started getting rid of stuff. Like taking clothes to Plato's Closet, taking things to donate. I just did that several different times over a span of weeks. And then what else did I do? I sold my TV. I tried to sell my furniture, but I ended up just donating my furniture to Habitat for Humanity. So that's what I did for my furniture. And yeah, then I just packed everything up into 7 suitcases. My mom helped me because, you know, if I was to check 4 bags, that would have been like $500. So my mom helped me move over here. Very grateful for that. And she checked 2 bags. I checked 2 bags. One of my bags was overweight. So it cost me like, my flight was $6 because you know what? Flight miles, okay? Then my bags were maybe $200 or whatever to fly over here. So I paid $206 to relocate over here, which is nothing. I left my car back home. So my car is at my mom's house because I was like, I don't know if I need to have a car. I live literally so close to where I'm working and they don't have parking for employees there. So I'm like, if I'm going to be working 5 days a week, there's no parking. I live literally within like a 5-minute drive of my workplace. Why bring my car? So I'm like, okay, I'll try this life with living with no car for some time, and then if I can't handle it, then I'll think about shipping my car out here, which will be like $1,000. And if I can avoid spending $1,000, I'm gonna avoid spending $1,000. Okay, let me just go ahead and get into like travel social work, because a lot of people are like, I did not know that's a thing. And like, I didn't know it was a thing until I met that woman that I worked with at one of the hospitals I used to work in Seattle. So yes, travel social work is a thing. I think it's more newer than travel nursing, of course. Travel nursing is, we all know about travel nursing, even if you're not even in the medical field, okay? So essentially, it's the same thing, not the same salary, because these travel nurses are making like $10,000 a week right now because of COVID. I'm not making that much money, but I am making a lot more than I would if I would have stayed in Seattle working in a hospital. I'm making a significant amount more. Of course, it's not all about the money, but that's a great perk to traveling, is that you make more money. The contracts are usually 13 weeks, just like any other travel gig. If you're a travel nurse, travel tech, whatever, usually the contracts are 13 weeks. As far as like who can be a travel social worker, I'm a master's level social worker. I'm not a licensed clinical social worker, which is the highest license you can have as a social worker. Of course, if you are a licensed clinical social worker, you will have more opportunities than I do. Again, that takes years and hours and hours and hours of supervision and a test to do. So I'm still working toward that myself. But I'm licensed master's level. And yes, there are positions for licensed master level social workers, as well as there are for just without a license. You can travel. I've seen tons of those positions. I haven't seen any like bachelor level positions. So definitely, if you're a social worker interested in traveling, you need to have your master's degree in order to travel at the very least. And then like have your licensed masters, your LMSW, you know, the equivalent to that, you know, equivalent to LMSW is like LGSW, I think ASW, I don't know. There's so many different master's level licenses across the country, and I wish they would like have some type of like reciprocity, or like some type of like, it all needs to be equal, because what it takes for me to get my master's level license in Washington State is completely different in every other state. It needs to be like equal, so that, you know, if you wanted to relocate, you don't have to jump through so many hoops. But anyway, I digress, okay? So there's tons of opportunities. There's tons of agencies you can travel with if you want to be a travel social worker. You just have to do your research. As far as like experience, so like I said, my experience is primarily in the emergency department. Where I'm placed, I'm not working in the emergency department. I'm also not floating either. I'm placed in a completely different unit that's completely new to me. So I think if the requirement is at least 1 year experience, I would definitely not recommend going into traveling as a new grad in social work. Of course, yes, you can try. Of course, yes, you may get positions and offers, but think about it. If you're a new grad, no experience in social work at all, you don't know what you're doing. Yes, you will learn, but a lot of times you may come into these contracts and these assignments and you don't have any training. You have to figure it out. It's literally sink or swim. I was blessed to be able to have 2 weeks of training and a team that is supportive and will help me. That may not be the case at every assignment, okay? So you have to have experience. You need to know what you're doing before you pursue travel social work, because it's literally 13 weeks. Do you think you're going to get 13 weeks of training? Like, do you think you're going to get a month of training? No. Like, you have to have some type of background. So at least 1 year, I believe, is the requirement or the recommendation. Of course, if you want to pursue it now and you have no hospital experience, do your thing. But for me, I definitely appreciate the fact that I have some type of experience in the medical field before I jumped into travel social work. So just think about that. So that's pretty much all I have to say about travel social work. If you guys, hold on, let me put this blush on. If you guys want me to do like a whole video on travel social work, I'm more than happy to do it. Just let me know in the comments, or you can follow me on Instagram and DM me. I'll be more than happy to explain more about travel social work. So as far as like adapting to relocating and adapting who I am as a person, because what I said earlier is I'm more like type A, so agreeing to be a contract worker, a temp worker, is so unlike me. This is just so not like me. And I'm also more of an ambivert, heavier like on the introverted side. Like I'm more of an introverted person. It's a pandemic, so there's really no like social things to do, so it is harder to meet people. And even as an adult, like meeting people, making friends, I feel like is a lot harder, just because our ways to socialize are very like small. Like it's either you meet people at work or you meet people within friend groups. The way to meet people is just completely different, and you have to push yourself to meet new people as an adult, whereas when you're younger, in school, whatever the case may be, you just meet people wherever you go. So just moving out here, just not being close to anyone or knowing anyone out here will be difficult. I won't say it has been, because my mom was out here for 2 weeks. My friend came out and stayed for a week. So I've had people to help me like kind of like get used to the area, which has been great and has been a blessing. So now I'm having to experience the area by myself now, and it's fine. Like I got a little homesick like maybe last week, but now I'm just kind of like whatever, I'm just going with the flow. And I'm trying to push myself to be social. Yeah, so I'm just having to push myself to be social, and which is something I haven't really done in the past. Of course, most of my life has been in Seattle, so that's my hometown. I don't have to push myself to be social. Like I know people there, my support system is there. I know how to navigate, living in Seattle, so I don't have to push myself to do that. Whereas, moving to other areas where you're not familiar with the culture, the people, you have to put yourself out there. So that's different for me. Of course, for my personality type, me having like a little bit of like social anxiety, which I've talked about. I don't think I've talked about on YouTube, but I talked about on my blog before at tashararobinson.com. If you want to check that out. I do have a little bit of social anxiety, usually in settings where I'm not comfortable. So that could be like public speaking. That could be just a group of people I don't know. So a lot of times when I'm reserved and quiet, it's not because I'm just wanting to be quiet. Sometimes it's because I'm so internally preoccupied with thinking about me being judged that I don't speak. So, which is crazy. I'm trying to work through that, but a lot of times that's why I'm quiet, is because I'm like, oh my God, if I say something, people are gonna judge me and think I'm crazy. Like I go through that all the time, which is, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So anyway, so far so good. I like DC. I've been out here several different times. I love it. The people are great. The food is amazing. Okay, so dating. I've only been out here for 3 weeks, so I haven't gotten a date yet. Like I reactivated my apps, so I've been using those. As far as like my initial thoughts on men, I think they're a little strange. And now I'm starting to second guess or like think about how I've perceived Seattle men this whole time. Like maybe it's not a Seattle thing. Maybe it's just a men thing, that men are just real strange, just on a global sense. Like on a global level, men are just weird. So I don't know. Let me explain. So I met this guy on Hinge. I felt like he was attractive. The conversation was actually very great. And we started to FaceTime, which is important to me, to FaceTime, or at least, you know, before you go on a date. I think it is a good idea to FaceTime. Do I do it every time? No, but I think it's a good idea. Anywho, so we FaceTimed, and for something told me to, I don't know what it was, but something told me to ask him who he lives with. Like, I don't think it's a problem for men to have roommates. I think it could be a very smart thing to do, even if you're like in your 30s, you know, to have a roommate, because you can save a lot of money, just depending on what kind of life you want to have. Like maybe you're saving for a house, or you like to travel. Why have all these bills if you don't have to, you know? So I don't think anything of roommating. But I do think of when people live with their families still. Like when men still live with their family and they're pushing 30 or in their 30s, unless it's like a cultural norm, it's a no for me. Like culturally, black people, black Americans, we don't live with our families that long. Like we move out, like culturally, and if you're still staying with your family and you don't have to like care for them or whatever, like that's completely understandable if you have to care for your family. But like if it's just living there, like why? You know, you need to, like culturally, that's our thing. You know, when you're 18, you are grown. What you about to do? That's how our parents be doing us. So anywho, something in my spirit told me to ask him who he lived with, and he was like, yeah, I'm living with my folks. And I was like, okay. And then immediately I was turned off. But I think he's a cool person. I do. He'll be a great friend, right? But anything else, I just can't get with it. So yeah, I don't have any dating stories yet, but you guys know if I have a crazy shit show type of story, you know, I'm gonna run to Instagram. Make sure you follow me on there, and I'm gonna run here to tell you the story. Okay, I'm pretty much done with my makeup at this point. I don't think I'm gonna put on lashes today. I'm just gonna do a really natural look. So just mascara. I think I need to lighten up my crease area because that's a little bit too dramatic if I'm not going to put on lashes. For my lips, I've been doing like, I really like natural lip. Like I have just been lining my lips and putting on lip gloss. So that's what I'm going to do. Like let's put a brown liner on. Where's my lip gloss? Yeah, so I'm just going to put on lip gloss and a lip liner, and that's what I've been doing lately. That's it. So my good sis Joe, she left a comment. So hey sis, if you're watching this video, she told me to try Eben, I believe that's how it's pronounced, edge control, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it. But then I just did not. So right now I'm just using my L edge controls. This is the rosemary mint strengthening edge control, and so far it's been okay. I feel like there's edge controls with more hold. So I'm going to have to listen to Joe and her recommendation. I just got a sew-in for the first time in years, y'all. It's been so long since I had a sew-in. I think it's been like 2 years. But I didn't want to do a wig. I'm so over wigs. I've been wearing wigs for about 2 weeks or so. And I was like, this is ghetto. I just want to wake up and go. Like I'm tired of putting on a wig every morning. And then my wigs, they're older. They're lace closure wigs, but they're older, so I have to like tack it down. So every morning I have to like spray it, lay it down with Godspeed glue spray. And it's like, I'm tired of doing that every morning. So I went and got a sew-in. This hair is hair that I used to sell, Creme de la Beauty. I'm not selling hair right now, and I don't know if I'm gonna restart selling hair either. So this is Cambodian hair, and I love Cambodian hair because of the natural luster, and it just looks so natural, like literally the most natural hair ever. It's raw Cambodian hairs. So this is the finished look, a very natural look, no lashes this time. I'm always on here doing a natural look. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and follow me on Instagram too. My Instagram is @theprototype_. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.